Podcast, this efficient podcast, yeah.
All right, welcome back to another Nature Fellas episode. Today I am joined by a very special guest. Thank you so much for coming on. This guy's a grizzly bear attack survivor, and I've had the privilege of getting to know him the last few days here and last year. And I'd like to welcome Jeremy Evans. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and you?
Not too bad. It's fun doing these podcasts at the show. So
Yeah, this is new for me.
yeah, it's new for me too. But I'm enjoying it. Little background noise every now and then, but it's not too bad.
Good, the people walking by.
Yeah.
Good thing we snuck in early.
Yeah. Took us a little while to get inside, but we found our way eventually. But yeah, how's things been going for you, man?
Things have been going pretty good. It's things have been picking up a little bit. Selling lots of books here at the show, doing lots of inspirational speeches all around the place.
Yeah.
It's kind of turned into a pretty big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not that getting mauled by a bear was fun, but the after part, I think I'd say it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, you've definitely made the most out of it, and I was saying to you the other day, it's inspiring what you've done with everything after the mauling, and you have a lot of people showing up to listen to your speaks, and they're fantastic. So
yeah, thanks, man. No, it's taken an interesting turn. I never thought that I guess I'd get to this point, or like most of us survivors, we kind of just end up coasting or kind of almost giving up, but being able to keep pushing forward and just keep getting up and getting through the trauma part and then turning into something. I mean, if you would have said about 7 years ago, would you be doing this? I'd be like, no, I'd be like hiding underneath a rock.
Yeah. Yeah. How long do you think that took for you to kind of get to that point where you felt comfortable doing all this? And
I'd say about 5 years after the attack. The book came out 2.5 years ago, and I don't think I was still comfortable then. It took about another year or so till I was actually able to share more of the story.
Yeah, for sure. Is that kind of when you started doing the public speaking and stuff too, or?
I started a little bit earlier than that, but the public speaking started, I guess I could get more comfortable with it shortly after.
Yeah. Well, it's a nerve-wracking thing as it is, especially without your story talking to that many people is a specific skill you got to learn. So
it's a little more scarier than fighting a bear. Like, I'd rather take on a bear than stand in front of 200 people. When you're up there on stage, it's pretty frightening. You get all these people focused on you, and the room's quiet, and you're like, oh, come on, somebody say something.
I couldn't do it personally. I'll say that right now. So respect to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking.
It's tough.
Yeah, no, it is tough for sure. But yeah, you were telling me, I think it was yesterday, you started a support group for bear attack victims. And what was the name of that support group?
Well, it's for bear attack survivors. The group is Rejected Bear Bait.
It's fantastic.
There's about a dozen of us now, and we've all been rejected by a grizzly bear, and that's pretty hard trauma to get over.
Oh, absolutely.
So we call ourselves Rejected Bear Bait, and we're at various stages. Some of the gentlemen in the group have been attacked in the early 90s, and then we got people that have just been attacked last year in the fall. And
wow.
So it's a very wide group of individuals. And we're all at different stages of recovery. Some of us still going through surgery. Others are just getting into the mental side of things. We're diagnosed with the PTSD. And
yeah, it's something that I imagine you just kind of have to live with forever, and it's more learning to deal with it than it going away. Or
I don't think you have to live with it forever. I mean, it's always there, but being able to understand and control the triggers and just, I guess, I don't know how to put it. It's things do get better. Like talking about it, I still have the occasional nightmare, but not very often.
Yeah.
And it's just understanding what's causing them.
Yeah.
And learning to deal with that trigger versus, I have nightmares on getting chewed on by a bear.
Right.
But what's the things that are causing it? For me, some of the things are stress, high stress situations. If it's a couple days in a row I'm not having sleep, then I might get nightmares. So it's understanding that and then dealing with that separately. Or smells. Like first time I smelled blood put me into a flashback.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when you take an ice tray and you crack an ice tray, and the sound of the ice cracking is like your skull cracking.
Wow.
So when a normal person gets out ice tray and cracks the ice, you're thinking cold whiskey or iced tea coming out, and for me it's like, no, that's my head.
Wow, that's traumatic for sure.
But it's now knowing what that sound is and reprogramming your brain. So now when I hear the ice tray crack, it's like, oh, cold drinks. Versus 5 years ago, that was immediate flashback. The bear was chewing on me, pulling me back in.
Wow. Yeah, no, I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine it, but it's, yeah, that's amazing. You've kind of found a way to cope with that and also help other people cope with that too, because it's a hard thing to live with for sure.
Well, and a lot of us guys, we're tough individuals. We run around the bush like a crazy wild man,
Yeah.
and we all fight our own grizzly bears in some form or another.
Right.
But that doesn't mean.
I love that saying. That's a good saying.
But that doesn't mean that you're mentally fit to look after a loved one.
Right.
And so we need to look after our mental health first before we're able to start a family or to reach out or help our family out.
Yeah.
So we got to really look after our mental health.
Yeah, no, and I think that's important for every element in life too. And I mean, I'm sure this in a way has made you a much stronger person. Yeah, like I can tell you're a very inspiring person. Like lots of people come and listen to you talk and stuff, and even though they weren't attacked from grizzly bears, they can relate to the perseverance you had to get through everything, and that you're still sticking with it is incredible, man.
Thanks, and it's because of those people that come up and they say, or they had rough times, and they said, well, this helped me get through the edge, or
Yeah.
now I'm going to go get some extra help because what you said kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. That's why I do it. And like I said, it's tough for me, almost traumatizing every time getting up on stage. But
Yeah, and you do it lots too, which is crazy. Like you speak so many times a year, so
Yeah.
so you kind of do you relive your story when you tell it, or does it not like bother you? Like, do you just kind of how do you go about that?
So every show that I do, I still break down on stage. There's you'll probably hear it in my voice, or
Yeah.
I set my presentation up so I have those breaks in there. So there's like little mini videos, and that's actually more for me than the people in the show.
Yeah.
Because I need my break in there because it can get pretty heavy for me,
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that. It does help. It does get better, but I think the day that I don't break down on stage is probably the day I should quit, because then
wow.
it's not meaningful for me, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, I got to watch you speak last year, and I was crying like a baby, man. I was in tears. Me and my girlfriend were in tears. But yeah, it's just such an amazing story. And then hearing that story was incredible. And then also reading your book and getting like the background on your life and leading up to the attack and how you're dealing with everything after. It's a wild story, man. Like it's a crazy life you're living. But you're loving it. So,
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I've calmed down a little bit. Hunting now, I got a lot of rules with the wife.
Yeah.
Got to carry my in-reach unit, bear spray on my chest or on my thigh. I carry multiple cans with me because honestly I trust that more than my rifle. I'm not a very good shot. I'm pretty slow now.
See, that's an amazing fact alone. That it's really interesting to hear you say that you would trust your bear spray more than a rifle. For someone that's, can you elaborate on that? Like why you feel that way?
Well, I know a lot of guys are quick with guns. They can shoot good and they can hit stuff. But when a bear's running at you from like say 30 feet, could you get your gun out and hit it? Yeah, most people listening probably could.
Yeah.
But could you kill it before it got to you? And that's if you saw it. My bear came from behind. Like I saw a cub walk in front of me, and then a few seconds later heard a branch break over my right shoulder, and well, there was Mama. Well, here to what the sign is away from us right now. And
You got no time.
no time. I mean, if I had a handgun, could I pull it off and shoot it? Not a chance. I mean, that bear was on top of me so quick, and I survived the 3 rounds with the sow there. And between the first round and the last round, there's about a 10 to 12 minute span through the whole thing. But an actual physical part I fought the bear was maybe 60 to 90 seconds.
Wow.
I mean, the first round, so the bear, I was watching some sheep, and I stood up to stretch, and I was leaning against my handlebars of my bicycle and to steady my elbows, and I was watching some sheep. And then I stood up to stretch, and when I brought my binoculars down, I noticed this brown thing run in front of me, probably about 10 feet away or less. And I knew right away what it was. It just had that nice silvery color, and I was like, damn, that's a grizzly bear cub.
Yeah.
And I got this feeling of, well, I was screwed because where was Mama? I mean, she had to be somewhere close. And I don't know if she was in front of me, behind me, or where she was. And I remember reaching for my bear spray, and I normally carry it on my chest next to my bino harness, but this day I was too lazy. I threw it in my backpack because it's like, I don't need it. I mean, I hunted this area for 17 years.
Yeah.
I had lots of close encounters with grizzlies, but only one of them I had to spray.
Yeah.
And so I was just too excited to get out there to go get my ram. And, well, I was looking for my bear spray, and it was in my backpack. So I started to unzip my backpack, reaching down to grab it. And as I was reaching down, I heard that branch break on my right shoulder, and yeah, that was Mama. And I mean, like here to this poster away, that's arms reach away. Her right paw was stretched out, reaching for me.
Yeah.
You can see the whites of her eyes. Her mouth was slightly open. I mean, she was like right there. I grabbed my backpack and I just started hitting her in the head with it, in the face, and she managed to get my hand crushed against the frame of the backpack. But I got my hand away and I started beating her more and more over the head, and she started to back off. So I was backing up. I was trying to get my bear spray out of my backpack, and we got about 30 feet apart or so. And I remember looking down the zipper and just opening up the zipper. When I looked up, the bear had spun around and she was facing me again. And she started coming in and charging me, and this was beginning of round 2.
Fuck, man.
I mean, she was 30 feet away, and 30 feet seems like a long distance.
But it's not.
But, I mean, she covered that distance in the length of time it took me to blink my eyes.
Yeah.
And I panicked. I mean...
Anyone would. Yeah. Anyone would, man.
Like, she kept charging in, and I just checked my backpack, and I was like, shit, please eat my lunch instead of me. I had some nice peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that I was hoping she would eat.
That was a good try.
It was.
Yeah.
That extra peanut butter.
Yeah.
I threw my backpack at her, and I started running up the mountainside, and I figured I'd run up into the spruce trees and try jumping off a high side of the hill into a tree.
Where was your gun at this point?
The gun was strapped to my backpack.
Okay, so it wasn't, nothing was easily accessible
No,
at the time.
nothing was easily accessible.
Gotcha.
And so then I started climbing up a spruce tree. I got about 5.5, 6 feet off the ground. And I remember I was pulling myself up, and you could hear the freight train coming through the trees.
Unreal.
Branches snapping, and then have you ever been close to a grizzly bear and you piss one off? They make that huffing sound, that... Yeah. She was coming running through the trees, and she got to the base of the tree, and she stood up on her hind legs, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, oh, shit. And she reached up with her paws, wrapped around my right leg. She pulled it down towards her mouth, and she lunged up, and she bit me right around the right knee from behind. So she come from behind my leg, and her teeth sunk in on the front part of my knee.
That probably hurt.
Well, I remember watching her bite me, and I'm thinking, like, this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't feel any pain.
Probably just full of adrenaline and everything.
Yeah, definitely lots of pumping.
Yeah, man.
And everything was in slow motion.
Yeah.
And her teeth just come in and just sunk right into my knee there. And I didn't feel any pain. I just felt the pressure, and then you just feel things just pop and, like, crack.
And is that when it got real?
Actually, I don't think I got real there. That was just like, that was a teaser, I think to say.
Yeah. Well, that would be real to me, but.
Well, and I was up the tree, and I was holding on. I had my arms wrapped around this tree pretty good, and I was holding on for dear life. And that bear just plucked me out of there like I was nothing.
Yeah.
The amount of power she had. And when she pulled me out, I hit the ground, and it was a spruce tree I was up in, so I crawled underneath the spruce tree and got underneath the spruce browse and wrapped my arms and legs around the base of the tree, and I was hoping that the spruce browse would protect you, like, just digging in. And at first it was working. Her paws, she was getting caught in the branches, and she almost seemed to get frustrated.
Yeah.
But then she reached in with her mouth and grabbed me on the left-hand side, just below the rib cage and above the hip, kind of in the love handle section. And she picked me up. And at the time, I weighed about 250 pounds, and she shook me like a rag doll, just like a dog when they picks up a toy and just flops it around.
Yeah.
And So she shook me like a rag doll and then threw me. And the bear, she wasn't a very big bear, like about 300 pounds, I'm gonna say, maybe.
But just incredibly strong.
Just the power they had.
Yeah.
I mean, the bear is probably, I'm gonna say a young mother, maybe a first-time mother,
Yeah.
4.5-year-old bear.
Yeah.
But I mean, the strength, it's unimaginable. Like, it's just incredible power.
Yeah.
And speed. And so she threw me, and before I could take my first breath, like when I hit the ground, it knocked the wind out of me. And before I could take my first breath, or before I could even cover my head and face, curl up in a ball,
Yeah.
the bear was right on top of me, and she had me pinned to the ground. I remember her come over and just had her paw, pushed me right down. And then she reached in with her mouth and she bit me on the left side of the face. I'll just use my little bear skull here to demonstrate. So her top 2 canine teeth caught me on either side of the left eye. It looks something like this. Hope you guys can see that.
I can grab the phone.
Sure. Give you guys a close-up. So she bit me just like this. Her top 2 canine teeth caught me on either side of the left eye. And when she crunched down, she removed the whole left side of my face all in one bite. Now for you squeamish people here, I'll just show you a photo in the book, so you might want to, if you don't want to look,
Warning.
yeah, close your eyes, view discretion is advised. This is the picture of my face after she bit it.
God. Wow. Oh, that's unbelievable.
So when she bit me in the face there,
I gotta switch that.
good now?
I'm not a good cameraman, so.
We're a bunch of granola munchers here trying to do a podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I am.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I'm a stale granola muncher.
Yeah.
No. So when she bit me in the face there, that was quite painful. Like,
Yeah.
it happened so fast, and everybody always ask what's going through your head at that moment, and I get the best answer for you guys questioning that. So in that exact moment, what was going through my head was fucking teeth.
Holy fuck. Yeah, I mean, how do you answer that question?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like I was thinking like I was kind of wondering, do I taste good? Is it like chicken?
Yeah.
Like, do you need some barbecue sauce?
Is she enjoying this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like is it? Do I taste all right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is 12 kilometers of sweat and dirt in my face.
Yeah, probably just 100 thoughts going through your head at that time.
Yeah.
Lots of thinking.
Mostly fucking teeth.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, man. Oh my god. Yeah. And is that when she stopped on that round after?
No, so she bit me in the face, and I was like, "Screw this, playing dead, because this really sucks."
Is that what you were trying to do? You were trying to play dead?
That's what my first thought was to play dead. But,
yeah.
Because when there's a cub, 9 times out of 10, it's a defense attack. So you startle a mother bear with her cub. The bear's gonna try to neutralize the situation, or when she feels safe, and run off.
Yeah.
And so your best option is to play dead, but it's really hard to play dead when something's chewing on your face.
Yeah. Yeah. And probably you're just in so much pain that you got to do something.
It wasn't really a lot of pain right away. Like, the bite happened, and then you get that fiery burn. So it's almost like when you wipe out on a bicycle and you get that road rash.
Right.
It doesn't quite hurt right away, but then you get that fiery burn.
Yeah,
and
I know the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of came over, and I'm like, man, that hurt. And so I rolled over on my back, and I was like, screw this, playing dead. Like, this is it. I started punching the bear in the face with my right hand, shoved my fingers in her nose, and had the little lip curl on the side of their nose.
Yeah.
I was sticking my thumb in there trying to peel that up.
Yeah.
Poking her in the eyeball and grabbing her ear. just everything to stop her from biting me in the face again, because I mean that was painful.
Yeah.
And at first it was working all right. I mean, she was snapping at my hand and managed to get a few good bites in. Then she was straddling me, and her head was right in front of mine. And she come down to bite me a second time in the face, and I had like a pretty sweet opportunity, and I punched my left hand into her mouth.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling the tongue as my middle finger and index finger slid down her tongue. At first it was like soft leather. You could feel the hairs on the tongue, and then you feel the ridge of the tongue, and then like the scars on it.
Yeah.
And my middle finger and index finger slid down her tongue, and I shoved her down her throat and used the rest of my hand to wrap around her tongue and hold on to it. And I figured if I held on to her tongue, she wouldn't be able to bite me.
Yeah.
Kind of like a dog. I don't know why I thought of that, but I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm probably the only one that knows.
Well, you probably didn't have a lot of options either, so.
Yeah. I mean, I had a few options,
Yeah.
but like this one seemed like the best, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was holding on to her tongue there, and I remember looking at my forearm, and her mouth was part way down my forearm, like I was way in there.
Yeah.
And I just remembered seeing that drool and snot run down my arm, and then the smell that were like, they need to make perfume for women, because man, that smell was incredible. It was powerful.
Yeah, just potent.
just potent.
Yeah.
Man. She had me just locked in with that scent.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, they bear smell really nice. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone's been close to one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just, was it like a rank, rotten kind of?
Yeah, it's like horse manure mixed with like, I want to say like, I don't know. It's extremely powerful.
Yeah. It's just, you can't forget it powerful. Kind
No,
of
like
smell.
you
Yeah.
just, it'll wake you up at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Man, that's not a nice cherry on top everything that's going on,
No,
so.
I was like, all right, you can chew my arm, but just get that smell away from me, right?
Yeah.
So my head's in her mouth, and her back legs were digging in my right side, and her claws were digging in, and that was extremely painful. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to push her off of me, but have you ever tried moving a 300-pound object by yourself?
It's impossible.
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and so.
And not one that's fighting back either. So,
Yeah. And like when I was pushing on her legs, I could feel, like, you just feel the muscle power and definition, and like,
Yeah.
they're just solid. And my hand slipped, and I hit into the belly, and when I hit the belly, I could tell because it was a little bit softer, almost like, I wouldn't say mushy, but it's got some give.
Right.
And I reached up in between the legs and grabbed what I thought was balls. Like my hand filled up with this nice soft tissue, and I just grabbed and twisted my hands in her mouth. She was already gagging with my hand in her mouth, and then whatever I grabbed caused her immense pain, because she just went and started squealing like a pig, like a real deep squeal of a pig.
Yeah.
And that sound is like just, I don't know, it's just, you send shrivels down your.
Yeah. Was there a sense of relief when you did that? Like, did you think that maybe I got her and this is okay and I can get out of here now? Like,
No, I was just a Hail Mary. I was like, what's this? And then I thought I hung on for like I want to say, I'm a tough guy, and I held on for like 5 minutes, but that must have been probably 2 or 3 seconds.
yeah.
From me shoving my hand in her mouth and then grabbing her underneath there, I'd say probably, the whole span was maybe 10, 15 seconds, maybe.
Yeah. But it felt like forever.
It did. It was like
Yeah.
such slow motion.
Yeah.
And I let go, and she ran back the way she came, squealing like a pig and just defecating across the mountainside.
Yeah.
When she left, I got up and I dusted myself off. And I'm like, that sucked.
Yeah.
Walked back to my pack like nothing happened, pulled up my cell phone, and the picture you guys saw,
That's a selfie you took.
that was a selfie I took,
And that was after like the second.
That was after the second round.
Yeah.
And I tried to get the bear in there, but she didn't cooperate.
Ah, what a bitch.
So I'm sitting there and just debating like what to do, because like this sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent all year looking for a ram, and I found a legal ram, and now I got to go and deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
this sucks. So I was really disappointed in myself that if I had my bear spray on me, I wouldn't be in this situation. I'd look a hell of a lot better than.
You look really good, to be honest, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but but I see what you mean for sure.
Yeah. Just dealing with that, and so I had my gun leaning against my left shoulder. I had the clip in my right hand, and I was pushing it around, going like, "This sucks," you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I can go over there and get this ram, or go look for this bear. And so I'm just I got about second or third round in, and then I got the when I was popping into the last round.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the sound of.
Could you turn that down a little bit if you don't mind? Thank you.
I remember popping in the second or third round, and I heard the sound of ice breaking, and the bear had come back. She hit me by the back of the head, and she started to drag me in the bush. And I just remember seeing her paws on either side of me, digging to the ground, and just heaving and pulling me back in, kind of like when you play tug of war with a dog.
Yeah.
You get nice and low.
Yeah.
And so she started pulling me back in the bush, and it seemed like she was pulling for quite a ways, but maybe only 10 to 15 feet. When we came to a stop, I was sitting upright, kind of hunched over, and I couldn't really move. I remember seeing a paw come over my right side and caught me in the corner of the left-hand side of the face, kind of right on my jawline, and she peeled her paw across my face diagonally, removing all the skin from my left side, portion of my jaw, my nose, and ripping this scalp off. And then she started chewing on this corner of my head here, kind of like a dog just gnawing on a bone, like turn sides, and they go crunching. And then she's ripping and tearing everything. And it wasn't like that. Had maybe took a few seconds, and then she stopped. I fell backwards. At this point in time, I couldn't see. My left eye was hanging out of the socket, hanging down. My right eye, I didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
And I remember sensing something above me. So I reached up with both hands and grabbed something that was soft between the legs. And I grabbed, twisted, and pulled, and whatever I had, I was trying to rip off.
Yeah.
And I wrapped my legs. I remember wrapping my legs around what I thought could have been her head and neck. And I held on, and she started bucking like a bronco, rolling around the mountainside, and squealing like a pig. And I thought I made it, 8 seconds to the bell. I thought I heard the bell go ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I only held on probably a few seconds, and I let go, and she ran down the mountainside the way she came,
Yeah.
just squealing like a pig. And when she left this time, I couldn't get up. I remember feeling my face. Everything felt different. Like my left eye was hanging out of the socket, hanging down. My right eye, I didn't know where it was at. I had chunks of flesh hanging in front of my face. My jaw was hanging down on the left side.
Yeah.
All the skin from my head from basically back here was peeled forward down my collarbone. I tried to get up, but I couldn't even stand. All the ligaments from my leg were severed at the knee. And a chunk on my left side and a chunk out of my inner right thigh. And I knew relatively where I was in the mountainside. So I started crawling down the hill, managed to find the trail, and I found my packing gear spread across the mountainside. But I couldn't see, and I was panicking because I needed my rifle. My rifle was my safety. I mean, when you got a gun, you're invincible, right?
Yeah.
Nothing could touch you.
Yeah, that's how you feel.
That's right. Like, well, if it's a bear there, I can shoot it. Yeah, well, my gun was my safety, and I was panicking looking for it. And I found the gun, and I tried dropping it around in the chamber, but my fingers were all busted going different ways, and I tried to drop a shell in. I didn't have enough dexterity in my fingers to actually get into the chamber.
Right.
It would just fall out where the clip was.
Right.
And I started to panic more and more, feeling around the mountainside looking for the clip. And I remember picking up a hunk of flesh, and I could feel the bristly part. Well, it was part of my goatee and mustache and a chunk of my face. And then I felt around a little bit more, and I found another chunk of my scalp. And I picked it up. I remember holding that in my hand and feeling it. I knew what it was right away. Even though I couldn't hardly see, but I could tell.
Yeah.
And then I found the clip, and I slammed it in the gun. And the first dark thing around me got 3 rounds, and then reality set in. That I'm 12.8 kilometers from the truck.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna make it. Like, that was it. This was the end of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to even hear, and yeah, so.
Yeah, sitting there on the mountainside, just thinking, like, what do you do? Like, in that situation, I didn't have no cell phone service, didn't have a spot or in-reach unit, nothing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, this is it. This is where things gonna end. And I pull out my cell phone to send my final goodbyes to my wife. I knew she'd never get these messages until they found the body, but
At least you'd have that peace of mind that.
yeah, they send her something. But what do you say? How do you tell somebody that you screwed up?
You didn't even screw up, and I know you see it that way, but it's just, it could have happened to anyone, but it's.
But I mean, if I would have actually took the time to have my bear spray in my chest, I probably wouldn't be in this situation. Well, I know I wouldn't be in this situation. It would have looked a lot prettier. And I just remember sitting there thinking, like, this is it. And I could really I had a few options. Do I try to endure the endurable and try to make it the 12.8 kilometers out? Do I just lay here and hopefully somebody finds me and let things happen? Or do I just end things on my own? And so I loaded up my rifle, and I was thinking about my wife and daughter. Like, we just had our first daughter. She was our first child. She was 8 months old at the time. And this is the first time away from home. And I've been with my wife since high school, so my high school sweetheart, she meant the world to me. And I knew I was never going to see him again, so I loaded up that rifle and I put my chin on the barrel and I pulled that trigger. This is a decision that still haunts me today, and we all get to those low times, but I hope nobody takes it that far.
Yeah.
I got a second chance. So when I pulled that trigger, the gun just clicked, and I remember grabbing the barrel, pulling aside, and I went to cycle a second round into the gun. And when I grabbed the bolt was like stuck. And when I yanked on it, the gun fired, and I just sent a bullet from inches from the side of my face.
Wow.
And that scared me because what was I doing? Like, I owed it to my wife and daughter to at least try to make it somewhere where they're going to find the body sooner, because where I was at, no one really goes.
Yeah.
But if I got across the drainage, more people go there, maybe they'll find me there.
Yeah.
And I decided to wrap up what pieces of space I had left and throw them in a shirt, wrap it up, and tie it on with my chin to help hold my chin up, a couple knots back of my head, and I tried to hike out. But every time I'd stand up, I'd fall over. All the ligaments, right leg were severed at the knee, and I just kept falling over, but I kept getting up, kept trying, because like I said, I need to get somewhere where they're going to find me sooner, because my wife, she deserved that quick closure.
Yeah.
And then I managed to be able to get to my feet and use my gun as a
Crutch, kind of?
as a cane, yeah.
Yeah.
Take a short step with my left foot and then push my right leg forward.
Yeah.
But the first 10 feet of the trail went down pretty steep drainage. And I made it about 10 feet down and lost my footing and tumbled head over heels down the drainage. And yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And then, did you think that was the end there? You're ready to give up? And
I knew I was in so much pain. I couldn't move. Everything hurt. All my hands were over my head. I remember laying there face down next to this creek, and the thoughts were just rolling.
yeah.
Things I was gonna miss.
So you're 12.5 kilometers to get to the vehicle. That's how far it was.
Yeah. Up and over 2 mountain ridges, across the creek 11 times.
So were you thinking of that as like, I need to make it as 12.5 kilometers, or are you just trying to?
I was just trying to make
get
it
somewhere.
10 more feet down the trail so that somebody will find the body.
That's what was. Yeah.
That's all I was thinking about.
Wow. Yeah. Just for closure.
Just for them to have quick closure. Yeah.
Wow. what was the moment that you decided to keep going, Jeremy?
Well, that's part 2, man.
That's part 2?
That's part 2.
Yeah, we could save that for part 2 for sure.
And if you want to catch up and find out more, you can purchase the book Mauled from grizzlydude.ca, or that's where you get a signed copy, or on Amazon.com you can order your copy, or wait for part 2.
Yeah, Jeremy's gonna come fishing with me. I'm pretty excited for that, by the way, on a different note. And yeah, we're gonna film a part 2 to this probably in April. So
yeah, man. So guys, stay tuned. This one not to miss.
yeah, for sure. And if you guys are in Edmonton, come and check out the Outdoor and Boat Show. And Jeremy's doing talks on stage here, so
Yeah,
don't miss
today
that.
I'll be up at 2 p.m. I guess I don't know when this is gonna air, but
I'll try to get it out today. I'll do my best to get it out today. I got to drive and get the laptop, but I'm going to try to get it out today.
Yeah,
so
no
people
worries.
can catch up for sure. So
yeah, stick around for part 2.
yeah, thank you again, Jeremy.
No problem, buddy.
We'll see you
Thank
again,
you.
man. Thanks, guys.